Binbi Curry, greetings in the language of my people, the Gungaloo of Central Queensland. I'm offering these greetings from Washington DC in the United States, and I wish to acknowledge the Piscataway and the Kachtan, the traditional owners of the land on which I'm standing, and I pay my respects to their elders past, present and emerging. At the Australian Embassy and across our networks of consulates, we're committed to celebrating the richness of Australia's Indigenous peoples, cultures and stories, and we wanted to share with you some of our reflections on what reconciliation means to us.
Reconciliation is very important to all of us as Australians. We have to come to terms with our whole past, with our history, confront it, acknowledge it, act upon it and move on together, because as a country we are always stronger when we move together.
Reconciliation goes to the heart of who we are as Australians, because fundamentally it's about equality and justice, two values that Australians hold very dear. Reconciliation is a journey for Australia as a nation, for our communities and for each of us as individuals.
I believe it starts with a very strong foundation based on truth-telling, respect and recognition of the oldest living culture in the world, being Australian Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders, and being able to build the narrative in regards to our history of immigration, our history of change, our history of movements. It all culminates into a nation that one is unified in regards to what the future can hold for a global citizen as a nation, and two, one that is always pushing the envelope in regards to promoting a more inclusive and more diverse and a more empowered society and community.
As Australia's ambassador to the UN, reconciliation means addressing the inequalities that still exist between Indigenous and non-Indigenous people. Not just in Australia though, but around the world. And so a key focus of our work here at the UN is to promote the rights of Indigenous peoples globally. We share the things that we've learnt, like the importance of working in genuine partnership. Reconciliation also means going beyond inclusion to belonging. And belonging means not just a seat at the table, but having your voice heard. And one of the things I hear regularly from Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander representatives is the importance of having a genuine say in the decisions that affect them.
Reconciliation Week is a reminder of the journey that our country is on to repair the damage that was inflicted by our ancestors, for which we are sincerely sorry. We must continue to weed out inequities in our society and create a country where differences are not just acknowledged, but where diversity is celebrated and leveraged for all our prosperity. Reconciliation Week is also a reminder of the value of legacy. I am proud for our Aboriginal Australians that comprise many distinct peoples and whose culture is one of the oldest in the world, dating back more than 60,000 years.
Reconciliation Week is a chance for us to reflect on race relations within Australia, the importance of achieving equality and equity, of owning our history and valuing our unique and multicultural national identity.
For me, Reconciliation Week was something I first learnt about as a high school student in Brisbane in the early 1990s. I was moved by the concept, the intention behind it, but also that it was about practical action. I think that's what's so unique about reconciliation as a movement. It's been embraced across the nation at all levels of society by federal, state and local governments, but also by the business community, the not-for-profit, church and education sectors. Over 1,000 Australian organisations have crafted reconciliation action plans, and these plans turn goodwill into action, embedding reconciliation into an organisation's work and sphere of influence. Reconciliation Week is a time to think about past injustices, the resilience of Australia's Indigenous peoples, our vibrant and diverse communities spread across the country, and our shared journey of becoming a just, equitable and reconciled nation.
reconciliation to me is the ability to be able to see yourself in systems, in structures, in communities, and organizations that reflect who you are, your culture, your history, and your community. And for me, the thing that I always look for when working with communities and working with organizations is a culture of inclusion, a culture of diversity, and a culture that celebrates the uniqueness that each of us can bring to a place, to an environment, and to each of our communities.
We're still on our reconciliation journey, and we've all a role to play. This week we reflect on what more we can do through our actions that reconciliation matters.
And here at the Mission, we're taking steps to ensure we better reflect the diversity of Australian society. The National Reconciliation Week is a great opportunity to have a think about our achievements, but also the challenges that remain. But rest assured, year in, year out, reconciliation is at the forefront of our work at the UN. It is core business.
Reconciliation Week is an important time to reflect on all of this. And here in Washington, when we think about the history of the US and Indigenous issues here in the US, we have a great benchmark and comparator to think about what we can do better as we go forward together.